Someone to come up here and meet these people. They're about dead.
Like a body.
And soft body covered up by a sheet.
There's blood on the floor. Yep. James office, call out! Yep. Scene. Clear the house.
One's my niece.
Oh my.
Over here, got her neck there.
That crime scene was extremely violent in nature. Whoever had done it appeared to be extremely angry or really wanted these people dead.
What's the emergency? Someone to come up here and meet these people. They're about dead. I'm sorry? Okay, you're saying they were assaulted? Yes, someone's got them. How many is there? 2. A male and female, or 2 males? A male and a female. 2 people. They're bleeding, laying in the jar, bleeding to death. I need help.
Investigators rushed to the scene and what they saw was horrifying.
When I got to the scene, I activated my body camera.
What? Somebody in the house. One's my niece.
Oh my.
Over here, got her neck there.
That crime scene was extremely violent in nature. Whoever had done it appeared to be extremely angry or really wanted these people dead. Once we was there, we was establishing what was going on. It was obvious we needed to get the victims to the hospital as quickly as we could in an attempt to save their lives.
Okay. Alright, okay, everybody stand over here by the cars, because right now this is now a crime scene.
There's a noise inside.
Okay, okay, go on. Okay. 21, you're gonna want to start down here.
The neighbors thought he had heard someone moving around in there.
Investigators searched the house but found no one inside. They spoke with the neighbors and learned 2 names, the possible victims.
We identified them as Tammy Potts Williams and Rick Adams. They lived together as boyfriend, girlfriend. EMTs was working on Rick Adams in the driveway. They were actually alive.
He's barely breathing.
Tammy was laying underneath the underpinning of the trailer.
This lady's throat is cut.
Did not appear that she was actually alive. But when I went around to the front of the trailer, we could see that she was breathing.
I was hollering at EMS and made them come get Tammy out from underneath the skirting and get her transported off to the hospital as well. My 25-year career as a law enforcement officer, I've never seen anything to that magnitude. That was probably one of the most horrific things I'd ever seen, as far as Rick laying there with at least 2 gunshot wounds, but the one to the head, and then Tammy, she was very brutally attacked, more so than Rick. It looked like Tammy had been stabbed multiple times and beat on top of it with her throat cut. At this point, you're trying to solve this puzzle. You're trying to piece it together. EMS was working on Rick and Tammy and transported them to the hospital. We didn't think she was going to make it from the scene to the hospital.
Investigators began questioning the neighbors, trying to find out what really happened that night.
So what happened when you got there? Well, I pulled up there and I said, boy, it's a tight squeeze right here. And I looked over and I said, Rick? I seen that blood run down into that car crack. I said, Lord, he's bleeding out. I said, I better get 911.
Had he been having any problems with anyone? Have any fallouts here? Because of how brutal the attack was, we believed at this stage of the game that Rick or Tammy possibly knew their attacker, but you can't eliminate the fact that this could be random as well.
As we were canvassing the area, we saw a silver sedan that was in the driveway. There was blood in it, and we identified the vehicle and the registration. The owner of the car was Leanne Potts, a family member of the victims, who was not located at the crime scene. We became concerned that she may have some involvement or may be otherwise injured. We were informed that there was potentially a body in the home of Leanne Potts, the owner of the gray sedan.
Leanne's daughter Lauren called 911. She had heard about her Uncle Rick and Aunt Tammy and immediately went down to check on her mom, who lives very close to the crime scene. The house was completely locked up and secure, but Lauren could see what appeared to be a body laying on the kitchen floor through a window covered with a sheet.
We went out there and we had knocked on every door, every window. I looked in, I said, there's a body in the kitchen.
Dispatch contacted me that we may possibly have another crime scene and other bodies. When I got to the house, I activated my body camera. I started looking through the windows. Looks like a body. And saw the body covered up by a sheet. There's blood on the floor. Yep.
Sheriff's office, call out!
Yep. Scene. Clear the house. Clear. Here, I'm gonna start snapping photos.
Margaret, I'm sorry, but it's just calling.
You want to pull the blanket? Just want to angle my camera down to try to record it all. It's a guy. He's been beat.
It was just brutal. You could tell at this point he had been riddled with gunshot. This was quickly becoming a mystery. I noticed on the kitchen table was left what's called a set of flex cuffs. Zip ties, just a cuff, like you were cuffing somebody's hand. There was some shell casings found in the kitchen area, 32 caliber Aguila shell casings.
We had one victim in the kitchen, and we may possibly have had another victim in the home. Yep, basement. Sheriff's office. Got another body down here.
We've dealt with several murders before in Ross County and the surrounding areas, but the brutality of these attacks was something that I have never seen in almost 30 years in law enforcement.
No. Don't touch nothing else. Leave it.
It's her. I believe it's her. Yeah, her hands are bound behind her back.
The victim's hands was bound behind her with a set of flex cuffs. Her pants was all undone, unzipped, hanging kind of down to her thighs. And she was put in the praying position, and she appeared to have one gunshot wound to the back of the head. She was possibly sexually assaulted as well.
It's just hard to believe that there are people in this world that will do things of that nature to another human.
The victims were identified as Leanne Potts and her husband, Thomas Littler.
We needed to speak to Lauren to gather any information we could about the last time she talked to her mom, who her mom had been with. But Lauren was very upset. It was a very tough moment for her.
When will we get update?
As soon as we can. Now your mom lived here, right? That's Leanne?
Yep.
And this Tom Littler?
Yep, he owns the house.
He owns the house.
Was she in the kitchen? No. Was it her? No. Was she in there? Yes.
I'm not gonna lie to you, yes.
She's not. Who else was in there? What does it look like?
I believe the other one's Tom.
So when you're notifying a family member the loss of a loved one, if they've been taken in such a fashion, it's undescribable. The only thing that I can say about that is I'm responsible to give that victim a voice, and I'm working for that victim.
I wanted to know who did it. I also was very scared. Mom was really starting to come into her life with getting married to Tom before everything had happened. Gave them both a new sense of purpose. And then Mom, he kind of settled her down a little bit in some of her wild ways. So they balanced each other out really well.
The news of Tammy and Rick's attack deeply upset their family.
My uncle, Rick, was just the most down-to-earth person that you would ever meet. He was just so sweet. He was purely a good soul. My aunt was a beautiful woman. And I would tell her all the time, like, you are just so beautiful. She was a very natural, woman. They were there for most of my life, so that's what's important. I got a whole bunch of phone calls. At that point, I literally looked at my phone and I had messages on Facebook, I had text messages, and I had multiple missed calls. I started instantly panicking. It was just complete shock.
Lauren told us that Leanne's brother, Rick, one of the victims from the first crime scene, had been driving Leanne's car.
We knew whose vehicle it was, and that's why we believe the car was at the first scene.
Lauren did also indicate that her mom had got a settlement, and it was a significant amount of money.
I overheard something about a welfare check. My mom just got a really big one. And I feel like it has something to do with money.
She also had indicated that Mr. Littler was pretty well off. He was supposed to get some money out of the bank because they were leaving on their honeymoon. They had just got married and he had bought her a diamond ring. Now we're starting to establish, is this motive for money? Now we're dealing with two scenes. I knew the two had to be connected.
We sent deputies to the hospital to try to get any available information out of Tammy.
Tammy was in very, very bad shape, but we knew she could help to solve this mystery.
Present is myself and Tammy Williams. Tammy, I know that just as soon as I got here, you recognized me. You're a lot more alert today. You told me that you were very fearful for your sake. Who is the person that did this to you? Can you write his name down? What did they use to hurt you?
Tammy wasn't able to form a sentence at that point. We didn't press Tammy. We had enough evidence without trying to say, hey, please remember, please remember. At this point now we're thinking the motivation's money. or a burglary gone bad. Never did we rule anything out in this investigation. When I met with James, he was indicating that Larry Potts, which is Tammy's brother and Leanne's ex-husband, would have been possibly a person of interest that we needed to look at.
Who's Bugs?
Larry Potts.
Larry Potts?
Yeah.
And they call him Bugs?
Yeah, call him Bugs.
Huh.
That's,
I don't know him.
Well, that's Tammy's brother.
Okay.
That's Tammy's brother.
Tammy.
The one. Yeah,
Okay.
Something happened up there.
Now, has Tammy and him been into it? He wasn't involved in this, was he?
They fight like cats and dogs all the time.
He was saying Bug and Tammy had been into it, or Bug was upset that Leanne was getting married to Thomas Littler.
So that information raised our red flags on Larry Potts being involved. We initially thought these crimes could be financially motivated, but then began to think that this could be a family dispute. Was there a common thread between all of the murders? We weren't really sure, but our strongest lead was Larry Potts.
After receiving this information from Mr. Reinhardt, I went to Larry's house. I made contact with Larry's roommate, and the roommate said Larry hadn't been home. He had left earlier in the day and he hadn't seen him. So now we're really, now the hunt's on for Larry.
Investigators canvassed the area and found several CCTV cameras. They reviewed the footage.
The drivers, you couldn't make the drivers out. But you could definitely say that was Leanne's vehicle and a car behind it with a strap over the hood. Heavy front end damage with a cable ratchet strap over the hood of the car, chasing it.
It was a letdown that we couldn't see the driver well enough to identify him in that vehicle.
The very next morning, I get a tip that our prime suspect, Larry Potts, returned home. Larry had active warrants for unrelated incident, and he was picked up on those.
We come with you out.
The real protocols to do it is we go in as one unit, each person knowing what their job needs to be.
Hey, Pop! Sheriff's office! Larry!
As soon as we breach them, we go in, guns drawn, formation as we go in until we can clear the entire home.
Don't get my leg. Lay down. I mean, my leg across your now in his custody. Okay. Whatever he tells you to do. Thank you. Nothing on under those.
Yeah, I know. If that's what you want to do, that's fine. I don't have problems with that.
When we went and picked Larry up, we actually found 2 knives covered in blood in his vehicle. We also had information that Larry had purchased a gun, a small caliber gun. So we, obviously now we're seeing all this intertwining together, trying to put this puzzle back together. Larry was definitely a prime suspect, and thinking, wow, is this your guy?
Investigators then questioned Larry Potts, hoping he could shed some light on the case.
When we talked to him, we wanted to make sure Larry was of sound mind, because it wouldn't do you no good to interview Larry if he was not of sound mind and then admitting to a triple homicide and leaving a 4th victim for dead. So you want to get as much as you can, as quick as you can, but then you got to be mindful on how you do it as well.
You were married to Leanne, is that correct? How long were you guys married? 26 years. How long you guys been split up now?
He was very distraught. Leanne Potts was his ex-wife. He had kids with her. He loved her. He still loved her. He didn't even know where she, never been over, never met Mr. Littler.
Who told you about what happened?
I was on my way back around 671. And then when I was coming out of there, Christina,
the neighbor,
she called me, just going crazy. Something about Tammy and Rick was underneath the tree. And they were coming, and the ball was coming, but they had to call the squad.
Okay.
And it wasn't making sense, Like, well, then she told me my sister was hurt, then I got my ass a little bit more, it's a little more rough, you know what I'm saying? So, I left there.
Investigators asked him about the car. It had damage on the front, and they wanted to know why.
In this interview, I asked about a car. It was just in the back of my mind. Hey, we're possibly looking for a gray car, front end damage. You know anyone that drives anything? This is your family.
Anyone driving a little gray car with a messed up hood that you know? Messed up hood? Yeah, let cheese about comes off. You left early, Jim Reinhardt. He's the only one that's got a little car.
Larry brought it up, saying that the only person that he knew that had front end damage on a little car like that was James Reinhardt. So, he's pointing the finger at James Reinhardt, who called in the tip saying Larry would have been involved in this murder.
They fight like after all birds build all time.
We didn't know what to think. We needed the truth.
Investigators noticed transactions made using Leanne's debit card. They traced the activity and checked nearby CCTV footage for clues.
There's Jimmy Reinhardt doing shopping sprees.
Surveillance video alone doesn't prove 100% that James Reinhardt committed this crime, but we had a lot of evidence against him at this point. James quickly moved up on our suspect list.
In our line of work, an investigator will tell you they don't believe in coincidences. So coincidence, it's just not a coincidence. Coincidences just don't happen like that.
Then investigators received a call. Someone had found something in the woods.
As soon as I arrived and met with them, they showed me the items, confirmed it was Leanne.
Purse, car keys, ID, credit cards, money.
And I combed the area there, and we located a knife laying in the grass. The knife had some blood, dried blood on it. So all that evidence that was collected and sent off to be tested.
Investigators got a call from Burger King. Someone named Jimmy had used the victim's credit card. They moved quickly, arrested him, and began questioning.
During the interview, you try to give them an out. And I asked about Leanne's debit card.
Where'd you get this debit card, man?
It's my girlfriend. It's supposed to be my girlfriend, but she's seeing that guy right now. So
Who's your girlfriend?
Larry, Leah, whatever. You wouldn't hide that, I don't care.
You can't pronounce your own
It's Rick.
Jimmy claimed that he and Leanne, they had been having this affair, but how do you not remember your girlfriend's name? That said it all to us at that point.
You figured it out.
That's what figured out.
She's dead, bud.
No.
He claimed he didn't know that Leanne and Thomas were murdered or anything, but he knew about Rick and Tammy.
Yeah.
Swear to God. Swear to God. That's why I've been trying to call for 2 damn days. No, don't do this.
I explained that Leanne was dead and he didn't show no emotion whatsoever. I knew at that point he was just full of it and that he was their guy. But he wouldn't confess.
After a few days, investigators received the DNA reports, and what they revealed was the shocking truth.
Everything pointed to James Reinhardt, including DNA found in Leanne's body and on the zip ties used to tie her up. Not Larry Potts.
Reinhardt never did confess, but we did have a mountain of evidence that proved his guilt beyond a reasonable doubt.
After reviewing all the evidence, it became clear Jimmy wasn't just guilty, he was the devil behind it all.
The altercation between Jimmy and Rick's going on, and then he attacks her, cut her throat, beat her, stabbed her, and left her for dead.
James Reinhardt pleaded guilty to the murder of Leanne Potts.
Like, comment, and subscribe for more true crime stories that delve deep into the heart of the human experience.